Yeah.
So ESRAG has a lot of tools, and we're going into Plan B for today's meeting because our speaker is MIA. So what I wanted to talk to you about is some of the resources available to you to help support ESRAG initiatives within your club. And the first thing I want to share with you is the web page. This is a great place to go to share what ESRAG is doing across the globe and get your members interested in supporting the environmental sustainability across the globe. So we would love to have more than one member from your clubs be a member of ESRAG. We would love to have a committee, and all of our chairs are working on a program that should be rolling out shortly that bills your club for memberships in ESRAG for up to 5 members in one dues payment. So be looking for information for that shortly if your club wants to be recognized as one of the leaders in environmental sustainability. Rob, did you have a question?
Yeah, we are just in the process of forming an Interact club, and they're looking for ideas for projects. Would this be a good place to send them to get some ideas?
We are going to talk about the iRotree in just a moment,
Okay.
and that would be a good place to go.
Okay, all right, thanks.
But this has a lot of information about what we're doing and the 6 themes within ESRAG of environmental sustainability. We look at biodiversity, sustainable living, pollution, climate, food systems, and creating a circular economy. So you could send someone here to look at any one of these, and I'll just click on climate just to show you all of the content. And you could actually use these if your club is doing a Rotary Minute, and one of those each month, maybe ask your president, say, hey, can I have the Rotary Minute to talk about ESRAG and what we're doing once a month? Ooh. Or even every other month. You can take things off of this page to educate your members about ESRAG and each of the different areas of focus within our action group. So this just talks about climate solutions, and it has resources for that specific area, and they have this for each of the different areas of focus listed here. So if you go down to resources, I think the green book, the green event planner is under this committees. Maybe it's under learning and guides. I clicked on the wrong thing. And my internet is slow, so we're gonna have to wait for it to load. Come on.
Kelly, can I ask a question?
Absolutely. We have lots of time for questions.
Well, I found out, very pleasantly surprised, let me put it that way, my village is going to be working on invasive species and may even come out with a program to incentivize getting rid of buckthorn and other invasive species. Ooh. Do we in ESRAG have anything on that particular issue?
Karen and I have a lot of expertise on that.
Larry and I could write our own personal book. There's an interesting project in India to get rid of lantana, which is a dreadful invasive species over there. But okay, we don't have any resources on our webpage. But Scott, offline, if you reach out to us, we could help you a lot with invasive species management.
Well, I'm thinking we might do that this year as an environmental project. So yes, I'll talk to you later then. I appreciate the suggestion.
But it's not a bad idea if it turns into something that, you know, we could at least direct people to really, you know, fuller resources about it.
It would be good for biodiversity.
Yeah, for in the biodiversity section, because invasive species undermine the viability of the native species. That's why they're bad and they have to go. Oh, look, the handbook page is up.
Yes, I apologize for that. I think I have a boy upstairs that's using the internet to play games and he's monopolizing some of my internet connectivity. So I did hear back from our speaker. I did want to let you know this is totally my fault. The sign up genius that I was using to sign up our speakers said that our event 7 to 8 MST, Mountain Standard Time. So she didn't think it started until 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So that is my mistake, and I will try to reschedule her, but we're going to continue with our discussion. I just wanted to let you know that she didn't blow us off. It was a scheduling error on my fault.
Blame it on daylight savings time.
What?
Blame it on daylight savings time.
It's a confusing thing. I'll have to go back into my Sign Up Genius and make sure that's fixed, because it sends reminders to the speakers, and if they have the wrong time, that's a big problem.
Yeah.
So under resources and support, learning and guides, we have our Green Events Handbook. And this was created by ESRAG members, as Karen mentioned. You can download it here by hitting Get the Handbook, and you can share it digitally with your members. And it has a number of different ideas on how to make your events more green. One of the easiest things, let me see if has a bunch of, it's a beautiful handbook and it has a lot of information. One of the easiest things that my club did this year is, instead of providing a printed agenda every month or for every meeting, we email that agenda and remind people that we're going green and that there will not be printed agendas, and that they can either save it to their device, or if they choose to print it, that they can print a copy and bring it to the event. So this talks about how to plan a green event. Here's some other great, in addition to electronic documents, on page 8 here, it talks about no single-use plastic containers, bottles, and bags, using more sustainable reusable items, use local products and local food, even things just as making sure that you're not wasting food at events, ordering the correct amount, or having a plan to donate unused food so it doesn't end up in a landfill. So we had a wine fundraiser back in September, and our caterer could have provided to us disposable plates and silverware and things, but we actually, going green, using this premise, we went to a local thrift store, and we were able to borrow china from them to use for the event, and secure from a restaurant, we secured cloth napkins and silverware. And so we were able to use items that could be washed and returned at our event. And in the process, we were able to support and educate people about, look at the nice things that this thrift store has. And in retrospect, one of the things that we're going to do to extend that further is that we had a lot of people ask us, like, can we buy our place setting? And so next year we are going to coordinate better with the charity to be able to sell the place settings and send those home with people if someone wants to take those home. Rob, I think you had a question.
Oh, well, it's not a question, just something that we did. We've reinstituted some district meetings, where workshops and stuff and where there's food. And we had leftover food at the last one, and it was a Saturday about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and nobody had any idea what to do with it. So we've elevated that to number one on our list when we're planning an event with food. Where do we go with any leftovers and make that a top priority so that we don't run into this situation again? Because we had enough stuff that would have made a difference had we had a location for it.
Yes,
I-
Karen.
I got a couple ideas in the same vein. Regarding the silverware, there's it could be a Rotary Club project to create a reusable event kit for your community. So the Rotary Club could actually acquire the plates and the silverware, and like maybe in cooperation with your local library or a community center, actually make that kit available for other organizations to use for their events. Just bring them back clean.
I love the
I
idea
love that
of
idea.
borrowing something from the thrift shop.
From the thrift store. And we were at a church fundraiser, and they were having an auction, and at the end of the night they boxed up every last bit of the leftovers in the kitchen and auctioned them off as as a part of the fundraiser.
Ooh, that's a
including
good idea.
So maybe you go armed with some leftover containers and encourage people to leave a small donation and take home what's left.
That's another great idea. I love all of these. These are ways, very easy ways that you can encourage your members to be more environmentally friendly in their thinking and how we go about executing events. So I encourage you to take a look at this event handbook and take a critical look at some of the things your club is doing, and then go to your next board meeting with 1 or 2 suggestions to encourage them to support environmentally friendly practices. So again, this is in the resources under learning and guides. There's a number of other things in here: planning a project, volunteering, information again about all of the different areas of ESRAG that we're doing projects in. And once you have a project, there is a tool that you can use to educate people about the project and help other people replicate the project, because environmental projects really don't have to be fancy to identify this area of focus. An environmental project can be doing, like our club has We Clean Trails. And so we go out and we have our trash bags with our gloves, and we pick up debris and take that debris to the recycling center or the trash dump, depending on what it is that we pick up. That doesn't really cost anything to do, and that's a great project for interactors. It's a great project to get people from the community involved. We publish those events on our Facebook page, and so people from the community have come out to those events that have no Rotary affiliation, just because they want to keep our trails and our roadways clean and beautiful, and it's an easy way for them to participate. The pollinator garden is another great example. Our club this year is working on a grant for a peace garden to focus on that area of focus of Rotary, but we are going to be incorporating pollinator plants. So we're also adding in that environmental element to our peace garden. So we'll be hitting 2 areas of focus with 1 project. Karen or Larry, you have a question or comment?
Well, I know that Tim Connors just joined the call and might want to introduce himself.
Oh, yes.
And he wants to, he's got a big challenge to tell us about.
All right.
Well, I don't know about a big challenge, but I do think about impact because I know we're short on time to work through the emission thing, and I think there's a number of initiatives, all good initiatives, and in some cases, what you're doing is drawing the club into conversation. And I just joined, so I apologize for not being here sooner to hear the whole conversation. People help me, get in channel as appropriate. But I think of it as kind of like there's gateway drug initiatives, which is people who haven't thought about what's going on with the environment, and particularly climate, need to be introduced to things that will get them going. And pollinators is one of the, as Kelly just mentioned, is a great way to get a group thinking about the environment. If you have a group that's very engaged and very interested in specifically the climate, emissions, and those kinds of things, then the high impact projects tend to be things that address food, address energy, which I understand solar habitat got mentioned, but any solar oriented project, Habitat Solar isn't the only one. It's a great one, but it's not the only one that's been done by Rotarians. Things that help people start driving with electric vehicles, those are probably three, and things that help people think about their home and what they should do differently with their home. Those are all high impact initiatives that reduce emissions a lot. And with that said, I'll shut up and, maybe I'll get some challenges here because sometimes the things I say are, a bit controversial.
Now, ESRAG, I don't know if everyone got this email, but ESRAG sent out an email inviting us to send in videos of us using electric vehicles. Did anyone else get that? Trying to find it in my email right now. While I'm looking for that, Demetris, do you want to introduce yourself?
I would be honored. Demetris Harrell, immediate past district governor for District 5910. And we took on a couple of challenges over the last year that we want to continue in the commitment of the pollination projects. And just 2 weeks ago within my job, I work daily with hospice patients. We had a memorial celebration and we released butterflies. Because I believe that is a wonderful tribute. It is the national symbol for hospice, but it also taught young kids who were in the audience the understanding of why pollinators are so beneficial. So I read a little bit about that and our project during that celebration, and we also had Rotarians available. But we continue to do a variety of things to invest in that area. And we definitely love hearing all the new ideas that we can take back to our clubs within our district to develop projects, programs, and awareness. So again, thank you all. And I yield the mic back to you, Dr. Kelly.
Thank you. I love that idea. There's so many different opportunities. When my children were smaller, I know we did the release of butterflies, we did ladybugs, and I'm trying to remember what the other one was that we raised the little insects and released them. I can't think of what it was right now. I did find the email. So it was sent to me by Laurie Zuckerman, Director of Communications for ESRAG. And EPA actually was the one who's driving the contest, launches a prize challenge to showcase electric transportation in action. So if you submit a video to showcase real-world experience using electrified transportation in everyday life and informing the public about more sustainable transportation. Think about like doing a mini commercial or fun reel, 1 to 2 minute video for a chance to win $3,000. The video is one of 3 categories: personal mobility, which would be electric 2- and 3-wheel mobility devices like e-bikes, e-trikes, e-scooters, e-cargo bikes. The second is electric vehicles, such as cars, trucks, and SUVs. And the third is electric buses, like school buses, shuttle buses, or transits. Videos will be judged on creativity, originality, and effectiveness in conveying the positive aspects of electric transportation. They're going to select 9 winning videos with a first, second, and third place winner in each category. And you have until January 23rd to submit those videos. So that would be awesome for some of our Rotarians to submit videos to support that. Karen, did you have another comment? All right, so this is, we went over the ESRAG homepage. I wanted to show you iRotree. So this is where you enter and find out about projects that other clubs are doing. The key here is when you first try to log in, you have to request your login information. So when I first tried to get in here, I didn't have a login, and so there was a little bit of a turnaround time because they have to verify your membership and send you the login information. But once you get that, let me show you what's in here. You're going to go to login, and you'll have your email and the password that you created. I have mine saved so I don't have to remember it. And this is where you see and can get ideas about projects. So if your club is doing projects, one of my challenges or assignments for you is to get your project here in iRotree so people can see what you're doing. So let's just, I'm going to put in pollinator. I started to type in pollinator and there's all these projects that come up. So if I'm interested in doing a pollinator garden, oh, this one's in Minnesota. They have 10 volunteers. It costs $500. So I can click on that and read about that particular project. So I have a contact person's information, the project description, how they paid for it, all of the details in here. How long it took, how many hours. And the more information you put into the project details, the easier it is for someone to replicate your project. So I would encourage you, as you put your project, whether it's a pollinator project, a battery recycling, put as much detail as possible so that someone else can read about your particular project. It doesn't say how many projects are in here, but when you go to submit your project, you're going to click on this new project, this blue button here, and fill out the form. You can always go and add more details as the project develops. I'm sure many of you have heard about the Lunch Out of Landfills project. You could click on that and read more about that particular project. How much it cost, any of the details of the project. And this can give you ideas for projects for your club or sharing best practices with other clubs. All right, does anyone have any questions about the iRotree? Karen, your hand is still up. I'm not sure if
I'm sorry. And iRotree is something that's being developed by a team in India. It's got great potential, but I've had folks report that it could be more user friendly. So if you try and it doesn't work out, you should let someone on the projects division know that you're trying to use it and you're having some struggles with it.
Timothy, you had a comment or question?
Yeah, also a comment. If you do get frustrated with iRotree, remember that on esrag.org, the website for ESRAG, there's a number of initiatives, and the initiatives also are a potential place for ideas.
So I'm looking to see where. I think that might be
Take
under
action.
this committee section.
Things that take action.
Yeah,
Oh,
take action.
Okay. Oh, join an initiative. Yes.
So, food, lunch on landfills is out there, solar habitats out there, plant-based diets. Those are, off the top of my head, because I can't look at the website right now. Those are, if you're concerned about emissions and climate, I'm going to guess those are probably 3 of the most impactful. Karen, feel free to fill in if I missed something.
The habitat solar, and if you're traveling, we encourage everyone to use the flight carbon estimator. That allows you to figure out the carbon impact of your travel, your flight, make an estimate of that, and then give a compensating donation to the Rotary Foundation, and where it will be directed to the environment area of focus and be used for climate mitigation projects. So that's a pretty cool arrangement we have with the foundation. And if you're trying to get your club going and doing something tangible, there's I think over 100 clubs in Europe who signed up to do every club climate friendly, where you monitor your club's, you find out the carbon impact of your club's activities, and that's the starting point for you to reduce your emissions, both in the way you hold meetings and as you put together service projects. Because as they say, you can't manage what you don't measure.
And a simple project would be the lithium-ion battery recycling project. Everybody, the biggest lithium-ion or lithium mine in America is in the junk drawers of America. All of your old cell phones, and pretty soon you'll have old batteries that you use for your leaf blowers or your lawnmowers or whatever. These can all be recycled and reused through the lithium-ion battery recycling project.
And I believe some of the clubs have tied that into other projects or events where they have a collection point at another event for people to bring those items. So you can tie that into events that your club is already doing.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Or you can partner with our lithium-ion recycling partner, Redwood Materials, and they will send you the materials and the collection equipment to do either a small scale drop-off, or they'll send you a 55-gallon drum that you can make a big community event out of it.
Can you put the name of that organization in the chat for everyone?
Well,
It's all through lithium-ion battery
if you
recycling.
that initiatives page that the screen's open to, where it says lithium-ion battery recycling, that's where you go. That's one of ESRAG's signature projects. And it's a really great opportunity for Rotary clubs to engage with the circular economy. And our thanks go to board member Clary Nolet out of San Jose, California for that.
Super.
And there's another resource on our webpage, Kella, right next to the Green Event Handbook. It's a little older now, but it's a handbook that the United Nations Environment Program asked us to create for them. We worked with the folks at the UN developing ideas for clubs projects, and that will kickstart you too. Right there, the UNEP
Right
handbook
here.
is another great resource. And the one difference about it is it was put together before Rotary had an area of focus for the environment. So it's not as heavy about climate as we would have liked it to be, but it's still got some great ideas if your club's looking where to start.
Mhm. So there's lots of tools to help you be successful in putting together a project for your club so that you have at least one thing that you're doing. Like I said, cleaning up roadways is a pretty easy project. Helping your club become green is another easy project. There's lots of different things that are very easily implementable. We're working with our Interact, and we actually have a Rotary Spark Club this year at one of the elementary schools that we'll be working with, and they'll be doing an environmental project with us. We're trying to set up a pollinator peace garden actually in their school that they will help us with, but there's the potential to do other environmental projects with them as well so that they can learn about protecting the environment. Does anyone have anything else that they'd like to share as we close out our meeting tonight? Well, I thank you all for attending. I apologize for the snafu with the speaker. That was totally my fault. The sign up information that she had the wrong time zone. So she was prepared to log in at 8 p.m. Central, which obviously will be finished with our meeting. So I will try to reschedule her for a later date, but I hope this was helpful to
Wonderful.
educate you about some of the tools and resources that you can go back and share with your club to implement some of those environmental projects. Thanks, everyone. We will see you next month.
Thanks, Kella.
Thank you.
Mind your food waste as you have a good Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Just eat it all. Just do it.
You can make great soup out of those bones.
Yeah.